Podcast for the curious mind. I don't know what that means.
Broadcasting live from a German-made microphone once again from the multifamily bunker. I'm way too excited for this show topic. How's everyone doing? We got Aldine, which is fitting. And Clemens, thanks for joining us. I don't know where the heck and Devin is. I've been told to watch my language for the sponsors. So see how long that lasts once we start going. No.
I will tell you that whole intro, like all of that, the countdown clock and the new thing, that's sexy. I like
you
that.
Pumped up? You pumped you up a little bit?
I don't know if that was just today or if that was, well, here we go.
Yeah, I was jamming out. Yeah. That was nice.
Gentlemen, Aldine. Why are you going with Aldine today, May?
You know,
just curious. You trying to just stir the pot?
Yeah, no.
Huh?
You know, if it's not Las Vegas, it's
in my small town.
It's he's in the news either way.
Really is. It's great. Have you been paying attention? I don't think you're a country music aficionado much, are you, Clemens?
Well, I know country songs, but I'm not a country music fan. No.
No. Okay. Well, so just to get people who aren't into country music up to date, what's going on is Jason Aldean came out with a song like 6 months ago, was it?
Yeah.
And it was it what's the story? You tell the story. You're the one with the Aldean name. It's like doesn't happen in a small town or something like that.
Hell yeah. I wouldn't have put that name down if you were gonna have to. Yeah, it's
bandwagon activist is what you.
Yeah. I'm just here to get the likes up. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. That's a good comeback.
Let's see.
No, so he came out with a song that's called "Try That in a Small Town," right?
Yeah.
And pretty much it was like, when all the riots were going on and stuff, and people were breaking stuff, and pretty much that was his like response, and it was it was whatever. I think it's stupid both ways.
Yeah.
But either way, so that song comes out like what, February, January, while ago.
The year. Yeah.
And all of a sudden CMT's like, wow, we're gonna have can't have that. Controversial. I think that's how they pronounce it down there.
Controversial.
That's controversial there, Jason. So anyway, they blocked his video from being played for being too
pulled it off all the radio stations and everything.
Well, they just not worked out well for the music industry because of that. Because pretty much Jason Aldean's response is "Go F yourself." Try that in a small town. We're all from. Are you from a small town, May?
Like, do I live in one now, or
no? Were you raised in a small town?
Well, I was a military brat, so we kind of moved all over. But I ended like 8th grade in high school in a very small town, Dover. Yeah. Supposedly Jason Aldean's like grandma or something lives around that area.
Maybe
Kentucky.
Don't name drop.
That's all they talked about in high school. But yeah, Dover, Tennessee.
Okay. And Clemens, were you raised around a small town?
I was all over the place, but majority small towns, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and I was too. So, and you know how small towns are. They are
they like, everybody knows everybody,
Yeah.
Lobo Fish, what is up, Phantom Factors? Thanks for streaming. You're welcome. We got a big topic today. This is called the draw out as we wait for our fourth to show up, Devin.
So we're just,
I'm excited to talk about this though too. Like
it's been on the docket for a minute, my man. It's been on the docket for a hot minute.
Yep. And I'm still like, this is not, I'm not going to do it justice by any means. Like I'm going to show you
part 2.
I mean, eventually hopefully people will correct me in areas I got wrong, and then we can do a part 2, because I'm sure I've been taking this in for what, like 5-6 days. I had my wisdom teeth pulled out, so I figured, you know what, it's a good time to do a little fucking research, because I'm miserable anyway.
Done. How was that? Let's talk about that for just a second, because I need to get done.
First of all, it was the best experience I have ever had. I went to an oral surgeon, and welcome,
Hey.
Devin.
Hi, I got a 5 head. Check it out. Big ass bald and fuck.
This is the first time reveal. I don't think it is. Or are we just so used to it?
No, I usually got a hat like right here.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Right. Enjoy it, man. You fuck.
I'm busy. I don't like this view. Now you can almost see my dick. Oh, I need that.
Hey, what happened there? You zoomed in.
Such a good shape.
Yeah, I know.
He's got some like French fucking like mustache goatee going on.
Right.
All he needs is a hat that goes fucking like sideways on the sides, and you're just like, oh.
You're walking up. Looking at that hairdo now that you've mentioned it from up high, it does seem. Yeah. It does seem. Be careful when you shave to get everything. You know what I mean? If you leave a little bit in the middle, you pulling off some. I know.
Seriously, like speaking from like experience, yeah. Like it, like there's been times where I'll just shave the top because it's like there's barely anything there, but just a little bit that shows up, like it makes a difference. So like you got to
get one of those things that you just rub on your head now.
Hey, I'm just gonna win that Mega Millions, and then I'm gonna do the Elon Musk and be like, y'all don't even remember me before this. Like
who won the Powerball or whatever?
I don't know who won it. Some asshole from California.
LA. In LA.
The Mega Millions is tomorrow. So y'all got
They're so grateful. All the taxes California
was
Hey, if you didn't live in California, you were going to get this much. But since you live in California, you got to shrink that number down by another 100 million.
Yeah. Because what they say, all the memes was congratulations to the IRS for winning the Mega Millions.
Yeah, because it's like 40% like right away, not counting like
state.
Oh yeah,
California. He'll probably walk away with a hot $2 million.
We all remember how bald Elon was, right? Like when he was younger.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, he's bald as fuck. Look it up. Like it's shockingly like you just don't remember because you're broke.
Yeah.
All right, we're way too happy for this.
Well, it's because I've been drinking for like 2 hours now. So Poppy is on point.
Hey, I'm so nice.
I'm just in time to make fun of dead people in Vegas. Let's go.
Okay. Oh.
I love country music, do you? Yeah, it's a good night for you.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about that. The whole reason this got brought up was because of Jason Aldean. And this whole whatever about the outrage about the small town, it's its own little stupid thing. But Jason Aldean, I was trying to think there like about because I didn't really pay attention to country music, new country music at all. And I remembered he was part of the Vegas shooting. You remember he was
I didn't know that.
He was the headliner.
He was the one performing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Jason Aldean concert. So now that you and now, especially now, how the people back Jason Aldean in the country music sphere of influence, at least, you sort of get an idea of what type of people would have been at that concert on October 1st, 2017. Now, do you guys remember much of the Las Vegas shooting?
I just remember some flat blonde chick getting wasted and like falling over on her side.
Yeah. I just remember it coming out and then it didn't add up because it was just one man, all these people.
And as long as he shot for too, just like
yeah.
And there's like some serious conspiracy theories about like people believe that he was set up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just him shooting, it was him and extras.
Yeah, that's what I stumbled upon today too. It was just a refresher, and it was some of those interviews of those people, that got out alive, the stories and stuff they were telling. Yeah, it was, and it was just so fun, and not funny, but like how it disappeared overnight. Like it was a hot
It did
topic
go away kind of quickly.
for like 2 days, and then it just
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Okay. So I've got some videos I clipped that I want to share that's going on exactly with what you're saying. First of all, Devin, you're a military Marine man, a triple M threat. And so you know gunfire pretty and Clemens, you're a Navy vet. Oh,
yeah.
You know what it sounds like when machine guns are shooting over your head. I can tell you that.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I apologize. I messed that up. Yeah, I believe. So I've got a clip though. The whole reason I was saying that is because you guys have experience around weapons. And you know what gunfire sounds like, and you know what incoming gunfire sounds like, in some cases. So there's some people that have collected the wavelength form, and can you guys all see that clear?
Yep.
I'll play this for you.
A possible event happens. The door opens from the inside.
Oh yeah, this is
audio examination of the gunfire by a sound editor with 20 plus years experience, proving multiple guns were used at the same time.
Look at the symmetry. Look at that symmetry. They're in the same place. They just moved up a few feet. Shots coming from the same point. One gun here. Here. They're back. Maybe 15 feet.
That's multiple guns right there.
Yep.
That's yeah.
Like the first one was Solo Mio. That second clip.
That's what he was saying.
That was multiple guns.
Yeah.
Multiple
guns. I can
guns.
tell that immediately.
Just play that clip again here. So, because that's I'm no gun expert, and I can tell that's multiple guns.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I played enough Call of Duty.
I'd have to you'd have to also source the source of the sounds. Any
police cam footage.
Like
There's police cam footage.
All right, that's multiple gunshots.
Okay,
not just like one gun. That's multiple rifles at the same time.
Yeah.
Phantom facts. What do? We start with the facts, right? The official story, right? So official story is there's a huge concert, Jason Aldean concert going on. At I think it's 9:00. Gunfire, couple pop shots. There's like 6 shots that go off between like 5 and 8 seconds, like pop, pop. And everyone's sort of looking around. And according to reports, they thought, well, maybe it's like fireworks. And then all of a sudden, the stops for like 30 seconds. They announce, hey, we're everyone get out of here. We'll resume this later. And then full gunfire begins. Just first trolley. There's 9 trolleys of machine gun fire that happen over that period of I think it's like an hour and a half that it goes on.
Nuts.
And
that's
then
a long time. Like even battles that happen like when you're in the Marines or like in the military and warfare, a 20-minute battle is like fucking forever. Like, you know what I mean? Most battles are pretty fucking fast. Unless it's a straight-on assault, like where you're really trying to take an objective over. Are they that long of somebody's just free shooting for that long?
Like, not to mention, like, it took the cops this long to get him. Like, usually when someone is like threatening with a gun, right? Like the cops are there immediately, like SWAT's there immediately, and they do whatever they can to like talk him down. So if they knew where he was, like why, like you're shooting from a single room, like on the 32nd floor, and it took them that long to get up there, like over an hour. I guess that seems like a long time.
Well, and there's a narrative now that a security guard, the official first story is that the security guard goes up, realizes the emergency exit door is locked on the 32nd floor, takes an alternate route to the 32nd floor, and as he's walking in the alleyway, or not in the hallway, to check to see why the door was locked, gunfire opens up on him, and 200 rounds are sent into the hotel room.
Damn.
And he gets nicked by a ricochet bullet in the leg. Jesus Campos is the guy's name. So now the official story given is that this happens before the shooting outside the hotel happens. And then the first few shots are probably range finding shots because they find bullet holes in a tank by the airport, because Mandalay Bay on the backside of it, there's it's the Harry Reid International Airport. And so they see range finding shots, what they believe to be. And then that's when the full first trolley happens, right? And then after all the machine gun fire is done, there is a sheriff's team that is waiting for SWAT for an hour on the 31st floor. And SWAT never shows up. And so eventually they go in to the 32nd floor, but they couldn't get in through the emergency room door because he had used a tiny little L bracket. And when I mean tiny little L bracket, he used a tiny little L bracket. And he with like 2 screw holes on each side of the L. And so what he ended up doing was screwing that to the door. Well, they couldn't breach that, so then they had to come in through another way. And then at 10:16, they arrive at the door. The shooting has stopped for 2 minutes, and there's 2 gunshots, supposedly. And they find the guy dead on the floor, and that's the end of it. And then the guy on the floor is named Stephen Paddock. And Stephen Paddock was how he is described in the media for the next 2 days is like an illicit gambler, a Trump supporter. There's like political angles that are taken to describe him. But what they do find out about him is that he had worked for the Postal Service, and then he had worked for Lockheed Martin. And then he was he worked for Lockheed Martin, international arms dealer.
Why would being a Trump supporter like make any difference?
But that was the thing, right? That was
It was 2017.
Yeah, right wing Trump supporter. We need to take guns away from people. Look at point in case this guy, Trump. Oh, he's the example. He's everybody. That they were trying to point or paint into a Bob Ross like photo picture of we need to take guns away from people.
Well, and this is the official narrative, though. This is the story you were told until day 7, when the story was never brought up again. And I took a screenshot of it, but there's a picture of media coverage during the time.
That just makes me think that they're using it as a cover up even more. Trying to throw these different angles, especially anytime they bring up we need to gun control. I don't know. My take on gun control won't change. Gun control is only going to take away guns away from the law-abiding citizens.
All they do with gun control laws is make good citizens outlaws.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
interesting narrative though. I agree with that is the narrative that they put forth.
That was the official narrative. Yeah.
Very Vivaldi sounding though, doesn't it? We had to wait for support. I know he's in there killing kids, but we just didn't feel safe.
Yeah. We're that protect and serve part. Yeah, not today.
All those cops are fucking pieces of shit. I'll go on the record for that one.
Yeah.
Well, that they talked about that's where the bump stock too, right? That.
Yes, you're right. That happened a few days later. Yeah. Yeah. They.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you think it's possible?
Well? They said that he had used a bump stock on a semi-auto rifle, correct? And that's what gave it the machine gun fire.
Yeah, because the recoil would cause you to pull the trigger again.
Yeah.
but they've done tests. And it's like highly inaccurate. You know what I mean? Like highly inaccurate. So
there's
Me
no
personally,
way.
I've never shot one of those.
Those
Did you
shots are
fail?
too fast. And if it's only one
They
guy
were too
and
fast,
multiple guns, like did he like you're talking like one in each hand? You know, like
That's what I was gonna say. Is it possible that he was, holding up two rifles at the same time? Just fucking like I could see that happening though. Like if you're that out of it.
okay, so
Yeah,
you're
but
talking.
ARs in one each hand and just fucking let it rip.
like
Let's
Rambo
talk
style.
Yeah.
logistics because he's hit the shot he is taking is 420 yards to the first grouping of people that get hit, and it's from the 32nd floor. So, like, could you have that type of control?
There's no way.
But too, though, it just
that's
doesn't.
that's a big target, bro.
Yeah.
How big's the audience? 400 yards wide by like 100 yards deep. I mean, come on, dude.
What I found interesting, and I'm sure Corey is going to touch on it, but like, there's clips out there that the like paramedics and police would go through, and they, I don't know the number, but there was several people dead center right in the forehead. I mean,
damn.
perfect. Like, so you can't like. I mean, what are we doing? Is this Mark Wahlberg and Shooter? I mean,
were they running for office anywhere?
Yeah, like it was.
Right?
Yeah, I get it. Like, and there was a bunch of people that just had like random shots on them. But I thought it was just I just thought it was kind of. I mean,
I was in the military.
You gotta be quite the shot.
You can shoot machine guns. Well, you machine guns a good 500 yards. I mean, the effective range of some of those weapons, 500, 800, 1,200 yards. Okay.
Yeah, but shooting two guns, like one in each hand.
I know.
There's
like,
a list of his weapons, though.
You guys have seen like videos of like just Woodstock or videos of like major concerts that are like 200 to 300 yards wide, like deep, of people, and 50 yards wide. I'm like, you don't have to be much of a marksman to like shoot into that crowd and hit some people.
Right. Yeah, you're shooting into a large group of people.
That's interesting.
So you're bound to hit something.
Lobo Fish left us a comment. Devin, you got to read the comments. That's here.
Jamal Khashoggi
is
killed 1 year to the hour later. Now, if anybody doesn't know who that is the if I'm not mistaken,
that is interesting.
He was a journalist, correct? Who got chopped up
Wall
by
Street
allegedly got chopped up. I'm going to say that just real quick. Saudis just see him. Allegedly
in Turkey,
got chopped up. Yeah, got chopped up by
the Saudi prince.
The Saudi prince in Turkey.
For
some geopolitical articles he'd been writing about Saudi Arabia.
That is an interesting point.
That is crazy.
Let's explore that here. Yeah, that's really crazy. That's really crazy. Let me see here.
And they like ship him out of that room in like a suitcase.
Can you guys see these pictures here? So, a couple interesting things I want to show you pictures of. So, this is pictures of the shooting. I don't know if so. Mandalay Bay is down here, right down here.
Bottom right.
Right here, bottom right. Right.
All right. Left.
Right.
Yeah.
First group of shooting right here. See all the black marks?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the first grouping of 20 people.
So
there's 20 people that get hit here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens is people start running, of course, away from the shooting. And there is ammo and was it? I think it was 7.62 ammo found out here, and then it was 223
over there. Yeah,
over here, and there is death here and here. And then they said what happened bunch of people die right here.
Yep.
Now, what they said
is that by the Hooters?
No, that's further down. That happens later. So this is just the shooting. So people run out here, and then they start running back up this way, and then they start running back after a volley of shots comes down here. So it appears, based off of the ammo that was found and the casings that were found, that there was casing, there was shells found here, and here. And supposedly shooters back here 442 yards. Yeah. Let me see if this picture came up here. This is a picture of him checking into the hotel on the 25th. Now, the official narrative at first is he checks in that night. Now, that changes to later. They find out his checkout date is the 25th, and he has been gambling the whole time. Now, supposedly, this guy is a whale. Like, he can just go into any casino, and they'll send him to Japan. They'll to a sister casino out there. Like, now, but I mean, what do you guys think of this picture? Like, I mean, doesn't that?
Well, first off, I want to say his hair is great. It is on point. Like, so that aspect of it, I mean, we're rock solid.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to know more about the bellhop.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why is there a tote?
Right look at that. I mean, doesn't that seem like there's? I mean, it just sort of doesn't. I don't know. It seems like photoshopped in there. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm looking too hard. I don't know. Let me see here. So this is you talked about this a little earlier. So this is here's how quickly cable news lost interest in the Las Vegas mass shooting. Right. So it goes from day 0. Of course, there's a huge spike. And then by day 14, it is not talking about really
off the radar.
Yeah, they wanted it out of there.
They're like, wow, look at this heat, huh? So hot.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a graphic photo. This is the photo they took of the guy. Supposedly he shot himself, Stephen Paddock. Now, why is there old blood next to new blood?
Yeah, because it would soak in at the same rate if it all was. Yeah. Interesting. Like, yeah, who?
You think someone took an extra shot?
Okay, and why does he have a chest wound right here?
Oh fuck!
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now supposedly he shot himself, and the gun. So this gun ends up underneath his leg. This gun ends up above his leg, and the pistol, I can't see where the pistol ends up landing. But even there, you can see old blood.
Yeah, but look at that shooter scope. Like that, why is that way tucked back there? Just kind of neatly placed by the bar stool and stuff. Like
this thing, a spotter scope?
Yeah, like why?
Yeah, that's weird spot to put it.
Yeah, like
oh, it gets weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like the amount of stuff, like unless he pre-cased it in a sense and then put that out of the way. But I mean,
and then let's finish this little tight little bow. Coroner bucks court order and refuses to release autopsy on Vegas shooter.
At that point, why?
Why? But why? Because they don't want to explain this?
Exactly is what. You're right. You're correct.
They want to explain
because if
that.
they actually reported it, someone would be like, how do you explain the wound to the chest?
Yeah. Well,
to report, then there's nothing to look at.
Gentlemen, it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. I'm just going to keep throwing stuff at you because, we know pretty much what the official narrative is.
And going back to those casings, though, like there's, like, in order to find casings, like anywhere, that means there has to be another shooter somewhere else because he's not throwing those casings like that far. Like,
500 yards? No.
Yeah. Like there has to be at least 2 other shooters if they're finding other casings. So just to like circle back to that real quick.
Have they ever addressed that?
Set on from the very.
Sorry, go ahead.
Have they ever addressed that as to like maybe people shooting back at the shooter? Like cops on the ground, they see where the bullet's coming from, so they're shooting back.
But you
why take the chance of shooting up at a hotel window with the thought of guests?
If I'm a cop and I got a fucking AR or whatever,
you gonna take a pot shot at it,
and I can see a guy shooting from the fucking window down on everybody.
Yeah,
knowing how good a shot I am, I'm shooting back.
Yeah, true.
Just saying.
All right. Here, let this tickle
your
mind.
I
do know what you mean. I do, but yes, I know exactly what you mean. Here's what. Take a look at this clip.
Very beginning, despite all the obvious evidence to the contrary.
Not one guy did not do all this. There is no way.
Holy shit!
This motherfucker's still ringing out right now.
What is that?
Okay, babe, let's go. That's.
Did that not sound like extremely close?
No.
That's two different distances.
No, that was bullets flying over their head. That last
clack clack? Yeah.
That was bullets going over their head. That wasn't coming from a new direction. That's just bullets flying over. That's what they sound like.
So that was the bullets arriving there.
Yeah. You hear that? Bullets gone. Like,
interesting.
Right.
Okay.
Holy shit!
This motherfucker's still ringing out right now.
What is that?
You hear the shots?
Okay,
right there. That was the same volley.
Okay.
Sometimes you hear. Sometimes, like, it depends. Well, it wasn't the same volley because bullets travel faster sound, but
that's what I'm saying.
You'll hear the crack, and then the thud. Well, the way that starts though is like that might have been another volley you sent.
Do you want to hear it again?
That's what it sounds like. You'll hear the cracks over your head before you hear the sound from the gun.
How long are we talking? You'll hear the crack over your head before you hear the sound of your gun.
Yeah. And
all right, let's do it again.
Every second, 600 feet.
So less than a second then is what these volleys are.
So you hear the cracks, and then you go 1,001, 1,002. That'll tell you how close people are.
Ringing out right now.
What is that?
Okay, babe, let's go.
Damn, I don't hear another volley after that.
No.
Yeah. No.
Is that where it stops? Like,
let's go. That's close. That's real close. And then I moved.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll play it again.
Maybe from different areas.
Fucking still ringing out right now.
What is that?
Okay, babe, let's go. That's close. That's real close. And then
yeah, see, you don't hear
it's right after. Like when you hear the clapping, you hear the thuds. Like it's not even a second later on that.
If
on that
that's
second
from
one.
that first volley, though, you hear the claps before the fucking gunshot because the bullets.
I think it's two different shots, man. I think I don't know.
I believe that is two different shots.
Okay, we'll keep watching this. This is just different cam footage that was taken from that night.
I moved. Oh, thanks.
Devin wants more food. Can you get Devin some more food over here?
Devin wants more food. Yes.
Damn it! All right, here we go.
Our SWAT took down one suspect on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay.
Did.
Yeah.
One.
That's high power though. They're all the pronouns I did were all headshots, bro.
But we know.
So 19 headshots out of
that's
I think
wild.
it was 49 people, 53 people.
Yeah.
19 of them are headshots and lateral headshots, like back to front, front to back. You know what I'm saying? Like not like a drop down angle because your trajectory coming down. Now there was a couple of guys found at the bottom of Mandalay Bay that did have a bullet that went through the top of their head and came out through their neck. So that would, indicate a downward shot.
Yes.
But the ones in that first grouping they don't release the names of who's who. You just have the autopsy reports. But they know there's 19 like almost perfectly horizontal headshots.
Did he take out the entire window or just like was he shooting out of a hole?
Oh, we'll get to the window here in a minute because that's a whole nother story. All right.
And we have multiple different calibers, so I'm just saying we have at least one suspect down. There's most likely more than one.
Just make sure, look at his forehead.
Yeah, that's fucking dead center.
Fucking center, dude.
right. Yeah.
That guy, see, same thing. That guy was a fucking headshot right in the fucking forehead. What the fuck, man? There can't be that many headshots with that amount of people over here. It had to be targeted. It had to be targeted.
We're getting over.
Yeah.
And these are people that were in the crowd then.
Or is that SWAT guy saying that?
It's some government official. I don't know whose body cam footage it was.
God damn.
For now,
Yeah, because I think it was police, paramedics.
Oh yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it could have been paramedics.
Across the street, and we hear shots coming from like Hooters, MGM area. Over there, there was shots coming from over there, and there was shots going from Mandalay Bay.
Every other person that I've talked to that did get unfortunately hit as well have all said the same things.
They know that there was multiple shooters.
Sounded like there were a dozen shooters.
The New York Excalibur shooting was right outside. It wasn't inside. It was outside. We saw the muzzle flashes.
I don't want to. I just found it in the street, brother. 223 round right here. Anyone got a glove? Okay. I don't know if it's any help. I just want you guys to know.
Love it. These are all
223 round they found on the ground.
These are all where I pointed out in the map where they're fine.
Outside.
Outside there? That's on a 223.
No, that's yeah.
Somebody was coming in from the here. It'd be the north side. North side? Yep. Somebody was coming in. How many? Just one? Just one.
It kept coming. That was the thing. It wasn't that okay. Let's all leave and now it's okay. No. We all started running and they came in. That's why there's no humanly possible way that guy, that was the only shooter. It was definitely someone on the ground.
Concert. I'm waiting for somebody to come through that entrance because it sounds like they're on the ground.
The gunfire's approaching where we were. They just started getting closer and closer and louder and louder. And I knew we were getting gunshots that were closer to us than where they originally started, and that's when we knew we had to run.
All I know is that the burst of shots were very quick, and they didn't last long. They were not 15 seconds long like the Mandalay Bay shooter was.
That explains the clean headshots if there were people on the ground. I mean, 19 of them clean like that, like your eye level with people. I mean, that makes it a hell of a lot easier to deliver that instead of 32 stories up, shooting down like that.
Was fucking Jolly West fucking in Vegas at this time? What's going on?
Yes. Lobo Fish comes in with a comment. Waiting on Devin to read.
Oh shit! Sorry, this may have been a terrorist attack right here on American soil.
Oh.
Then covered it up.
Yeah, probably the bushes behind it.
That's very possible. Hey, why you so against fucking Prescott, bro? Huh?
All right. Let's get back to it. There's a little bit left of this video.
Now it sounds like it's coming from farther away.
That's close, man.
Dude, that's right there.
That's fucking close.
That shooting was different than the distance shooting. That was not over your head. That was a real rifle.
I'd be getting the fuck out of there.
Oh man. Talk about a bad day.
So, but I'm like, all that is.
They had a pinch point. Where are you gonna go? You gotta take your odds, and you go. You hesitate. You go one wrong direction, and then boom, you take one to the forehead or the chest.
But do we still think like this is done by a bum stock though? Because that's the idea, right? Like that was a big thing that came out of this.
That was one shooter.
Stock.
We have all this shit showing that it's not. Yeah.
Oh, it gets better, gentlemen.
Was also shooting going on inside of the Mandalay Bay.
It sounded like more than one machine gun, and it just didn't stop.
We heard gunshots from around the corner. We were in the Delano, right next to a walkway that connects the Mandalay Bay to Delano.
Multiple shots fired.
We were the furthest VIP stages away from Mandalay Bay, and they were ricocheting everywhere where we were. So they were firing from somewhere high, and they were unloading clip after clip after clip after clip.
There's a shooter, you believe?
Multiple shooters.
So that's the argument.
I'm sure you meant magazine.
You're talking about people getting shot and shit. You poked me in the forehead. I fucking had PTSD moment.
We gotta give it a second.
What?
Speaking of,
how the fuck is he barfing full potato?
I think this qualifies as a muted conversation.
Yeah. I don't know why she poked me in the forehead like that. It fucked me up.
I wonder why he wasn't paying attention.
We're talking about death. Okay, hang on.
Okay. God damn it. Can we unmute him? Unmute him? I'm just gonna can't listen. All right. Now, anyway, so multiple shooters. I think there's multiple shooters.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like, I'm also thinking like that's an automatic weapon too. Like, I don't think it's a bump stock. That's where I'm going with my conversation. Is like it can't be a bump stock. Like hearing that gunfire, it's too like rhythmic, to be a bump stock. A bump stock would be like, I mean,
they play a clip of it in this video I watched, and it's like,
yeah.
It's not.
But you got to think though, if you can, like, you can't get people to stop buying rifles, right? ARs, whatever. But if you eliminate the bump stock and you make it a whole nother tax stamp and money grab and more process to get to build the whole gun, you know what I mean? Like that's all they're trying to do. Is let's break it up.
A mass suicide so we can get more tax stamps.
No, everything comes back to money at the end of the day. But like I said, they can't take they can't take our guns away, right? But they can take the way you build a semi-automatic or an automatic rifle. Like, okay, you can't have your bump stock because a lot of people, I think now you have to turn them in or you have to submit them so it's considered legal now. Because I think if they wanted to and you still had your bump stocks on, I think you can get in huge trouble for that. You got to think they're going to try everything they can to take our guns away and take that right from us.
Let's finish seeing what else there is for evidence before we start throwing out who we think it is, because there's a whole hell of a lot that happens after 10:18 p.m. A lot that happens after 10:18 p.m. So I showed you the shooting videos. This is those choke points where people were saying they were getting shot at. Let me see here.
How many people died in this overall?
53.
That's a lot.
53 people died, and a lot for it to become unanswered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot to not answer to any, besides the fact that this guy was somehow, I don't know,
lost it mentally and was just going to shoot as many people as he could.
Yeah, you can watch the interview with his brother.
On a radar imagery from that night that shows covert actions.
Who's the coroner? Have they ever figured out like whose pocket he's in or what he's been associated with in the past?
It's not just the coroner. It's like
by aircraft that the LVPD never tried.
But
this is the flight path that was going on that night during the concert. And you can access this on live 24hourflightpass.com or something like that. I looked
to explain or even acknowledge.
And they're going to stop directly behind the Mandalay Bay.
I'm going to change this layout.
First one hovers right there, right over Mandalay Bay, right over the event center, kind of oval-shaped roof.
These choppers coming in?
The third
and
the fourth. Notice that first helicopter, what happened is it turned off its transponder. These other two
Watch
are
this
about
plane
to do
down
the
low.
same, and they turn off their transponders as well. And they remain there. No transponder signals come back on for the duration of the shooting. So they turned off their transponders at about 9:52, and no more transponders will appear in that area. But what's interesting is that even though we have no radar data showing flights in that area, video evidence clearly shows flights being in that area during the shooting. I want you to notice as we watch this clip, the flashes coming from behind and in between Mandalay Bay and Delano Towers. There's no aircraft in the air at this time, according to flight data, but we see lights flashing in there, which have to come from aircraft because there's no other buildings tall enough for them to be coming from this perspective. The flashes are inconsistent. They're not normal, consistent flashes like you would see from beacons or anti-collision lights. So it's possible these flashes are coming from a muzzle.
To uncovering that Metro knew by 1 a.m. that night that there were 3...
Say what now?
I didn't see any flashes. That video was just a fucking cluster. I was trying to focus on too much. Did you see
too
any?
small of a screen. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
can
saw
see
an
it when
there's an airplane going across, and where those helicopters were, it veered off like just slightly, like towards the
45.
end there. Yeah.
It takes a 45. Also not mentioned is that there was 3 women that check in on the 25th of September with Stephen Paddock, and their names are redacted from the documents, and they are not mentioned in the official report. So that's of interest too, I think.
What the fuck, really?
That is really interesting because that goes off of.
It's like super fucking like, yeah, we need to know who these people are. Obviously, they're fucking know them somehow.
Yeah. I saw that today, and that's why I thought it was so interesting that there was a lady that makes her way into the concert warning people that y'all are about to die. Like
Mexican lady, comes running into
a
the
Mexican lady goes into the concert warning people, trying to get them to get out of there because shit is about to hit the fan, and nobody takes her serious. They interview a girl on here about it, and she tells them like, yeah, this lady tried to warn us all that something was about to happen.
Watch this clip here real quick.
Or even publicly mention.
And he's registered there with 3 other females. I don't know, you want all their names.
Why is it documented, right? The 3 women were inside the room and they redacted their names from the document. And for some reason, not only did they lie about Paddock being alone in the room, but they are hiding who these women are.
So there's
it's disgusting.
It gets worse, bud. It gets worse. This
Do you
is
think he was in so much debt that he was controlled by something? If he was if he was a shark, but maybe they used that as because they do that all. What was that we went over where they'll take one of your weaknesses or take something and be like, hey, you got to do this for us.
And then play his gambling habits or whatever as as an out, like, oh, he was about to lose his business and lose everything. So
maybe he didn't pull a trigger, but he was the fall man for it because that was the card that was sent in. And these 2 fucks right here on the screen.
You watch his interview with his brother, and he said it was because of Steve that his mom, who had raised 4 kids on her own, was out of poverty and was able to retire comfortably. And he was so successful at what he told the guys at video gambling that when they would be traveling by Reno or Vegas, they would stop in to see him and his boy, and he would walk into a hotel and they'd be like, oh, Mr. Paddock, we have a room waiting for you. How long will you be staying with us? And he'd tell them of stories when he'd be going to so his brother, he'd go to Japan. They had a sister casino in Japan. And so he'd be like, hey, I want to go to Japan. They're like, oh yeah. So for some reason, this guy is uber loaded, right? Uber loaded. And then when they ask all the people at these hotel staffs, at these hotel places, they say they had never heard of him before. So one of these stories isn't right. Like either he was a top-notch gambler that his brother experienced, or none of the casinos want to admit that they. And the death photo is what gets me the most. The guy's got a shot in his chest, and there's new blood on top of old blood. To me, he seems like, hey, maybe they want, it looks like the body got dumped there. That's what I don't know the motive, but doesn't that look like a dumped body?
Yeah, I didn't see any grazed wounds on his legs either. Like maybe it's on his right leg or something, but I think his pants should have been ripped or something, right?
It doesn't make any sense to anyone who's here. Watch this video.
We've got Sheriff Lombardo nervously bumbling through press conferences, not even knowing the most basic facts of the case, and misleading the public for whatever reason on purpose by changing the timeline to either suit his poor reaction time or to benefit Mandalay Bay and their legal liability.
My intent, like I stated earlier, is to give you information.
That guy to the right is FBI agent Strauss, I believe. I think that was his name. FBI there. I watch him because he's always like, yes.
As I know it, unverified, to calm the public, not to establish a legal case. Everybody understand that?
No.
The public.
Let's play it again. His job here.
To calm the public.
I hope this one gets died.
Not to establish a legal case.
How about
Everybody
bringing
understand that?
motherfuckers to justice, Nick? Goddamn.
No question, sir.
No question.
Yeah, you don't get to talk.
Did he?
Questions? No.
Wait.
This is all rhetorical.
No question, sir.
Yeah, fuck you.
Everybody understand that?
Understand that I'm
No
controlled
question,
and
sir.
owned, and I'm a pile.
No questions asked. Watch it. Watch a little
We
bit
have a
more.
script here.
Did he just admit he's not trying to establish a legal case?
Yeah.
Why don't you just come out and say you have no intentions on solving this? Why is his biggest concern calming the public? Wouldn't the public be more calm if we actually got some answers about this tragedy? And why does FBI agent Aaron Roos creepily nod in agreement every time Lombardo lies or says something dumb? Why can't he answer any of the public's
Ruse was his name. So close.
Whatever happened to the first 48? You know?
Yes. It showed the 48 hours. If they don't solve it, it's just over.
Yeah. What about the $10 million that they bamboozled everybody?
Yeah. So GoFundMe page that was set up for the victims of Las Vegas generated, I think it was like $800 million.
Oh my God! Really? That's a lot of money.
It might not. I'm confusing numbers. I don't think it was 800 million, but it was in the millions.
Yeah.
And it all disappeared.
Oh my God! He's probably retired somewhere.
Oh, they think
The
it was
sheriff-
the mayor or whatever. That guy
sheriff-
that was with him.
The sheriff is now the governor of Nevada.
You're shitting me.
Now the governor of Nevada. So take that with its grain of salt. Let me see here. What else I got a couple other videos I can share. Give me a sec here. Are you guys all depressed yet? It's all nice and quiet.
You bother me.
I was just thinking, like, a grain of salt, that's like a cube. A guy, so people are advancing their careers after this.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes.
So we're covering it up. We just basically gonna say it's one guy, one shooter that did all this and like died and threw some casings down the street and hand out some promotions.
I've got police cam footage of when they first walk into his room. I think this is the video. I marked it as corner, but
Oh, please be unadulterated.
The flip-flopping on timelines, refusing to answer basic questions, and raising public suspicion because authorities felt the need to be so evasive about everything, videos relating to evidence of multiple shooters or alternative narratives were banned, censored, and suppressed on
5 days after the Las Vegas shooting, YouTube, Twitter, and Google start blocking any video that indicates multiple shooters.
major social media
Mandalay
platforms
payout?
like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Say what?
What was the Mandalay Bay payout for the insurance?
It was 800 million.
Okay, yeah, so that was the big one. Yeah.
Yep, and they barely got anything. And then MGM turned around and sued them, the survivors, for talking shit about for talking shit about their security staff. They sued the survivors for libel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
brutal.
Lord forbid people question the FBI's narrative of a 64-year-old man unloading over 1,000 rounds in 10 minutes with absolutely no motive, no history of mental illness, no known political affiliation, and all the while shots are being heard across the strip long after they find him dead.
SWAT shot him. That's a shot.
They sure didn't want us to see everything that happened on Metro 5's helicopter cam that night, or how hotel staff helped load all the gun cases up their own service elevator. But they sure wanted us to know that he was dead and the case shut and closed by purposefully leaking out an immediate photo of a fresh blood stain on top of a dry one? Huh? And how did he get underneath the rifle here? Or throw the pistol he supposedly uses up and over so far behind his head? And what's the blood stain on his chest about? And if you're wondering, no, there's no forensics available on his blood splatter to prove he actually committed suicide at all. And the coroner put Paddock's time of death down as noon the next day. So we have no idea when he actually died. That didn't stop Lombardo from declaring in his final report that Paddock died in a very specific 2-minute window based off, nothing. Although I did find buried in a report that their heat sensor stopped picking up readings in the room at that time, which, considering it takes a body over 12 hours to become cool to the touch and 24 to the core, sort of implies he didn't just off himself a minute earlier. I guess we weren't supposed to notice these things? Every video I could get my hands on before the powers that be could...
Any questions?
That's a great documentary, by the way.
I'm disgusted.
She does a good job.
Yeah. You can clearly hear that guy like, oh yeah, SWAT shot him. And then like a pause and then more shots ring off.
Yeah.
So again, like
more effort than the
Sorry. I'm getting
The helicopter thing I'd never heard of. That's really fascinating. Like that.
Yeah.
That's wicked. I mean,
there's a helicopter. Oh, so there's 5 helicopters. Now there is a Sunset helicopter rental place that is like 2.5, 3 blocks further north, and those helicopters were registered to that place. And there is reports of shooting that takes place in the hangar of that rental shop. So that's interesting as well. There's footage of shooters coming onto the airport behind Mandalay Bay, and then the Harry Reid International Airport, to combat this, shuts off all lights to their runways. I'm hoping that I apologize for not getting these correctly in order, but there is a segment here that shows. So there's a segment where they're telling them all to turn off their cameras. Turn them off, turn them off, turn them off, turn them off. This is the corner. This is showing. So like there was a guy found with a headshot wound like that. But most of like 19 of them were just like in and out. I see if I can find. This is just dealing with the shooting here. Sorry, guys.
So just one guy with shot top down. Then everyone else was all horizontal, which means that they had to be at some sort of eye level with the person. Otherwise, because the trajectory of a bullet's going to go in whatever like line that it's shot in. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a curve, but that's over distance, and he's top shooting down. So like majority of the victims should be like at a downward angle, right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the glass too. Remember the iconic scene of the two curtains flapping through the wind?
Yeah.
There was
window.
There was an end suite on one window, and then a room adjacent to the suite that had another window broken out. Now the narrative is he went to the other window and started firing on that crowd. But then there's this weird part where
Australian Brian Hodge, who claimed almost immediately in both social media posts and in interviews that he was the one staying in room 32134 next to the shooter. You know, the one directly adjoined to Paddock's that Metro had to blow in because it was locked from the other side. Where he would claim to be during the shooting would change several times.
So you guys saw that photo of the
this guy's the neighbor then.
Yeah, so he claims he was in 134. That's where he claims he was. And he also claims Paddock showed up to the hotel for the first time that day on the evening of the 1st. So he claims he was in this room. This is his room, he says. Now, this is the two windows that are broken down low there. All right, that's weird.
Was locked from the other side. Where he would claim to be during the shooting would change several times, but he also unintentionally in those early interviews mentioned very specific details about the shooting that weren't known to the public at the time. He knew a special hammer was used to break the hurricane-proof window in the room.
So there's no balconies. He actually he checked in the hotel on Thursday and came with a specific hammer that's designed to break that glass.
How did he know?
Whatever the glass is that casinos have a double.
You don't have those kind of conversations in the elevator? Because I do. Hey, what kind of hammer is that? That's one for breaking windows. I'm about to fuck shit up.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You're not going to the Jason Aldean concert later, are you? Yeah, you might want to skip.
Order room service. It's going to get too loud.
Or whatever it is, but was able to smash that glass and then actually shoot out through the glass that way. So cracked a massive big hole in the window pane.
And much like the FBI and LVPD would falsely push, he also claimed Paddock checked in a Mandalay Bay on Thursday the 28th, which is interesting because, number one, he supposedly just checked in himself the night before, so it's not like he could have ran into Paddock those days earlier by accident. And two, the real check-in date was actually on the 25th, which for some reason, Lombardo decided to lie to the public about during a press conference the next day, even though dispatch logs showed he 100% already knew the real check-in date was the 25th, and that there were 3 other women other than the girlfriend registered to his room. Hodge also assumed the security guard that walked down the hall was shot and killed, which, given the amount of bullets that came through the door, was shocking he wasn't. Hodge, after the shooting, he lied about hiding in the bushes.
What? Did you guys catch that part?
No.
It was cutting out.
Okay. So he turned off his location before and after the shooting.
The Australian or who? Who
the Australian.
Okay.
So is he working with this guy and then
where is the Australian now? That's what I need to know.
And they said he was hiding in the bushes.
Brian Hodge. Yeah. He said he was hiding in the bushes. Wow.
What a mess, though. Imagine if you're on this team of mass chaos and you're like, fuck, has anybody heard from Bobby? Well, let's go over to the airport. We got to tie up that loose end. And, well, we got to go get Paddock. Got to tie up that loose end. There's just a checklist of shit they got to fucking get all done before 3 a.m. It's like, I hate this job. I hate this job.
Well, there's a couple interesting stories of survivors that wanted to start Facebook pages about multiple shooters that end up, one lady, she ends up dead, dies in her sleep. Another lady gets shot in the Catholic Church not far from Mandalay Bay. So there's just weird incidents that surround the entire massacre that took place on October 1st. And then the sheriff that ran the operation is rewarded for his loyalty, I think, and is now governor of the great state of Nevada.
Hope his secretary gives him an STD.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because like I was telling you on my Twitter, going through this, like multiple people posted about it, and they were like, "You don't dive too deep into the Vegas shooting because if you know, you know." And with you saying that, these survivors were trying to get out and say that makes sense. Why? Because I didn't know. I was the dummy going through the comments trying to be like, "Well, if you know, you know. What do you mean?" But hey, you talk about it, you get clapped. That's a loose end you got to tie up.
Harry Reid, and I didn't clip this, but the Harry Reid Airport also shows an airplane flying in, and then it takes a 45-degree angle turn, and then hovers above Mandalay Bay between 10:15 and 10:20, and then disappears. And then so when you look at the, because they got the tracking number on it, so you can look up what type of aircraft it is because they have their tracking number on it. And that's actual flight ended up landing at 10:22 at the Harry Reid International Airport.
That brings up a good point, though.
But you can watch it hover over the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, is that a news helicopter or police helicopter or something? But that made me think, where was the police helicopter? Because usually when they have something like this going on, they would want eyes on there. So where were those resources at?
I guess
they didn't in a stripper's ass with cocaine.
Right?
It is Vegas.
That's crazy. So these are just, well, I don't want to say unmarked helicopters, but helicopters that
are unmarked
there,
turning off transponders as they head over. Man, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, gentlemen. It doesn't make any sense. The dead body doesn't make sense. If you get a chance to watch the interview unedited with the brother, that doesn't make sense. His hard drive is stolen from his laptop. Who stole that? That was in the motel. I was in the motel. And then his Reno home gets robbed because, according to the official narrative, the police forgot to lock the door and the wind blew it open.
Convenient.
Of course it did.
His brother gets charged for looking at kiddie porn, which he was fighting. I don't know the end result of that. And then the other one is just shaking the entire time of the interview because, I mean, you watch him and I feel like Paddock was much more than there's beliefs that he was laundering money through these casinos. And that's why no one wants to claim they knew him. And of course you wouldn't tell your brother that. So it would just look like you were a high roller.
Yeah.
And so I think there was illegal laundering going on somehow. And maybe he threatened the wrong people. Say, hey, give me a raise or I'll blow the lid on this. And they're like, we could use your body for something.
Yeah. I've got this great idea.
To let you be the fall guy. Yeah. It's reeks of CIA.
Yeah. What is it? MK Ultra, right? That's the whole. Or am I thinking of something?
No,
different?
I think it's too organized for it to be
Jelly West, bro.
See, Aldine, though, it always comes back to the money.
So organized.
Yes, money. Thank you. It always goes back to money. We've done
We got our own Jesse the Body here named Chris May.
You guys have done enough of these episodes. It's follow the damn money. 9/11.
Well, the Jamal Khashoggi thing is interesting.
I believe that's coincidental. How does that have anything to do with this?
I've believed it. I didn't even. It's just weird. But yeah, knowing who Khashoggi was, which would be a fun episode to do. It seems like the Saudis would have their own, but maybe we gave them permission. Like, hey guys, you gotta. It could be. I don't know. It's hard for me. Like, if it was such a secret op, right? For whatever reason, like, why does Trump go along with it? That's the part I don't get. Like, is it so big that Trump has to go with it, or?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't think about that.
Why does Trump play this game with them? Because he goes and bans bump stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't he have a tower in Vegas?
I don't know. Trump to me, he's a businessman, and like at the end of the day, like what's the one thing that businessmen like? Like it's money. So like he's like that guy would sell his soul for the right price. I'm sure. So like to me, like the reason like he could be there because of a business venture or it being beneficial to him in some way. Like
there's a lot of complicit people in this.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. There's a lot of people covering each other. I mean, you can watch them be like, you got camera off, got camera off, got camera off, turn your camera off, turn your camera off, turn your camera off. The canine unit guy leaves his camera on for like 5 minutes. There's no shell casings on the ground. There's no broken window. The cops are looking all over for a broken window and they can't find one. And it's on his body cam footage. And then beep.
That spotting scope would have been right next to him. Like it wouldn't have been.
I
like
told you, yeah.
You wouldn't put it way across the room. Like you're gonna need to know. Like especially, I mean, you're pulling out headshots like that. I mean, you're gonna need that spotting scope.
This is a setup. It is
Probably gonna need another person too.
100%. Not a conspiracy theory in my book.
Spotting scopes aren't used by like just one shooter. When you shoot, someone else is looking through the spotting scope to see where you're hitting.
Yeah.
Is it that Aussies scope?
Yeah.
Was
It's like, hey, bloke. 2 clicks to the left.
Antifa, Australia's Antifa took credit for it. But it was confirmed by Snopes to be not verifiable because they didn't have enough followers. They only had 800 followers. But in their post, they said one of our own has shown those Trump lovers. Now, that could have been a troll, too, you know. But this guy was part of the Australian Antifa group, this Seth Hodge. And first thing he does is talk about gun control when he gets back to Australia. Hey, mate, I see how it works over there. We made the right choice. No offense.
Oh, that's awesome.
Had me around strap and let's drink.
Yes. I don't know, gentlemen. It's I've been putting it off for a long time because like I've covered maybe like an eighth of shit that happened that night. So
that's crazy.
One last comment from Lobo. Thanks for all the comments today, Lobo.
Yeah.
Living during stuff like this in the last election show that history book are probably not true.
100.
Yeah.
Yep.
Blacks are the ones that started slavery.
Damn it. We were doing something.
It's actually all of Asia and Europe. Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
All of
Asia.
Let's go on the record and say it was white men who actually ended the practice of slavery first.
Britain
was the first country to outlaw slavery.
It's true.
Clean it up. Put a bow on it.
But we're the last one to get rid of child labor.
Yeah.
Last one to get rid of child labor. So
yeah.
Guys, this intro video, how are we feeling about it?
Dude, great.
Devin, have you seen the intro video?
No.
Would you like to see our intro video to the show? We'll finish it off with this. Thanks for listening, everyone.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. Systems are advised to take the following steps. If exposed, remove from the road.
Podcast for the curious mind. I don't know what that means.
That was nice.
Huh?
The slurping noise always gives me chills when it goes on. But
Aleister Crowley giving the double fingies, though. That's pretty.
There's
sick.
a secret message hidden in there. If someone is brave enough to try to figure out what's being said, they'll find out. Just got to